Taco Tuesday, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Use the link for the service. We gather, we chat. We have a topic that Ellen Livingston provides that half the time we don't get to because we're having too much fun. And a reminder from Robert Tidwell, our Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration, that on the table back there that has the RE poster, Religious Exploration, there are questionnaires about adult RE. So if you would take time to fill that out as we start our new church year. It's not our fiscal year, it's our 71st year of services. Please fill it out. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. Good morning from Montclair, California. From MVUUC, we welcome everyone here in the sanctuary, and also a big hello to those of you joining us online. We hope you feel welcome as well. One of the ways we welcome everyone at the start of our service is to ring the bowl. We sound it 3 times. Once for those who came before. The Tongva and other native peoples who were the original stewards of this land and called it home long ago. We also honor our ancestors and the founding members of this congregation who imagined and formed it 70 years ago. We ring it once for those of us here and now. Our members and friends, visitors, staff, and extended UU family, all who hold, care, and grow this beloved community that we know as our own. And we ring it for those who will come, for all who will find belonging with us and call MVUUC their spiritual home in the days ahead. I invite everyone to stand as your spirit and body allow, and we're going to sing an opening song together. It's in our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal. It's number 361. We'll have the lyrics up. It's a mover, so shake it if you want. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Let's sing out. I'd like to invite Megan Gallagher up to light our chalice. Thank you, Megan. Should find the matches there. Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame that represents our shared light of hope and witness. Hear now the words of Reverend Tamra Lebick. Ingathering, in the fall, in the church, in the quiet, in the noise, in thought, in the spirit, in anticipation, in calm, in the beginning, in the end, in transition, in gratitude, in hope, in love, in faith, in unison, in gathering. Let's sing together our favorite song that we have included in every service when we gather. It's number 123 in our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal, Spirit of Life. And I invite you to stand as you're comfortable. As we speak our covenant together. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is the sacrament, and service is the prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve the world in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you. It's so beautiful. And I'd like to invite Robert Tidwell up, our Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. We love long titles here, don't we? All that. That's why we shorten it to DLRE. Here's our DLRE for our wisdom tale today.
Good morning, everybody. Man, it's a tough act to have to follow the choir. So today's story is To Be Resilient by Tim Atkins. It starts with a quote. Let me tell you the secret that has led me to my goal. My strength lies solely in my tenacity. And that's by Louis Pasteur. When I was a child in Georgia, we took a field trip to a nature center called Oxbow Meadows. At the time, I didn't know what an oxbow was. I just knew I totally loved the name. Later on in life, I learned that as a river flows, it will erode its banks over time. What might start off a little divot erodes and erodes until it forms a classic river bend. Oxbow refers to the kind of U-shaped bend in the river, and an oxbow lake is when the river has eroded the bank of the bend to the point where it cuts off from the main stream. Think of it like cutting a line across the top of a U. Well, that's what happens to the bottom of the U, is no longer getting access to the running waters of the river. It's become an oxbow lake. There are so many spiritual lessons from the natural world, and in a season filled with ingatherings and water communions, this is one for me. Oxbow Lakes as a beautiful combination of resiliency, strength, and flexibility. It takes a long time for an oxbow to fully form into an oxbow lake. The water doesn't care, it just keeps going. If there's something in the way, water will bump up against it and then go around it. If the water was too rigid, it wouldn't be able to flow down the banks of a river. But we all know that the strength of water too. Water can do incredible things, incredibly beautiful things, and incredibly destructive things. Running water can be the strongest force in our natural world, breaking down rocks, digging out Grand Canyons, swallowing an entire island. It is the strength that helps water erode the walls of the river, eventually forming the oxbow. We often think that strength and flexibility are opposite sides of the same coin, but when they are united with resiliency, you can literally move the earth. Resiliency, united with a strength and flexibility, creates beauty in the world and creates new spaces for life to flourish. And this time in my life, at this time in our history, I need this kind of oxbow resiliency more than ever. May we all have oxbow strength, carving through mountains, determined to change. May we all have flexibility, bending around the curves, overcoming all obstacles. And may we all have faith moving forward. Thank you. And now if we can get the children's recessional up. I left the children's cellos down in the classroom, so we will We will be sung out, but without the chalice today.
That's okay. Today's offering message comes from reading number 674, written for us by Reverend Brandy Lovely. He wrote, "Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream." And as those generous caretakers of this community, we find ourselves on a road that does seem to be exceptionally bumpy these last few years. Yet we give from our hearts in many ways to maintain our community's physical, spiritual, and fiscal well-being. So in this whirlwind of worldwide change, we do well to do all that we can to maintain our spiritual home as a place for recharging and reconnecting our souls one to another. So thank each of you, thank you for your kind and generous donations that make all of that possible. We are givers in so many aspects of our church life together, and all that we do in our care for each other is an offering toward wholeness. And it is with grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and our values that our generous offerings will now be given and received. Thank you, Lily. Another way we share in community is to share the things in our lives that bring us great joy and the things that are troubling us, maybe weighing us down a bit. For those of you who are joining us online, if you have a joy or a concern that you'd like to share with us, you can type it into the chat box. I ask that you use all caps to put either joy or sorrow. I see a lot of no sound things on here. Can folks on Zoom hear us okay? Can I have a thumbs up, Meg? Okay, good. Thank you. I don't see any joys or concerns on Zoom, but I do have one from Debbie Skirdo, and it is a joy. She says she was able to visit with her daughter Erin for a day. We spent it at Glen Ivy, so it was relaxing. Exclamation point, relaxing. Yeah. She's back home in Alabama now. Thank you, Debbie. Then there's another great joy that the whole congregation will be celebrating. Can I embarrass you, Rev Ellen? Yeah. Today, today is Reverend Ellen's 89th birthday. Yay! Oh,
Tried to go to sleep. I decided that when people ask me what's the secret of my long life, I'm going to say being a Unitarian Universalist.
yeah.
Because it's not only the institution, but it's the people, since I was 22, have dragged me into activities and ideas that I don't think I would have gotten otherwise.
Probably not,
I'm sure
yeah.
other people will live, beyond me and not be Unitarian Universalists.
Yeah.
But
Will
it
you
sure
come up,
helps.
will you come up and say that in the mic, just so that everyone can hear you?
This mic?
No, the pulpit. You know,
Oh, the
you
pulpit,
remember-
I
Do you
wasn't-
remember that pulpit? And then I have a gift for you.
It's my friend.
It is your friend.
Yeah, I embrace this. I even knew the man who designed it, Chuck Jacobs. Well, anyway, when I went home after that party and I was trying to go to sleep, I couldn't. And then I got to thinking, sometimes people ask me, what is the secret of living this long? And I decided I am just going to be bold enough to say it's being a Unitarian Universalist. And if they want to say, oh, what's that? Okay, I'll tell them. And it's, a lot of people live to be 89 and older. But it sure helps to have a congregation like this behind you. And when you want to do bold things, like I and other Unitarians went to the Arizona testing grounds, and we knew we were going to be arrested, it was so much easier knowing that I had back home a congregation that supported me. So that's it. Unitarian Universalist. It's not only our principles and our worship service, but it's the people, since I was 22 years old, who dragged me into doing things like yoga before anybody knew what yoga was. I started doing yoga because some other woman dragged me to a class. Anyway, that's it. I didn't mean to make a speech, however. It's a very happy birthday.
It is. Happy birthday, Ellen.
And next year, we're going to have a dance.
Oh, for the big 9-0.
Yeah, and with
Yes.
with a disc jockey and games and,
Oh,
yeah. Wow. And everybody.
everyone calendar that. Calendar that. We're going to hold her to it. Thank you, Ellen. We look forward to that celebration.
And my friend Daniel's here. He's a UU.
Ah,
I don't often see him.
we welcome you, Daniel. Let's join together in a time of prayer. And as we pause and we turn inward together, connecting our hearts, our minds, our very lives, lighting up the web that binds us to all beings in these beautiful, meaningful, trying, and tender times. We are grateful for this community of love and connection. It is our place of belonging. May these unusual days remind us of how much we mean to one another. We join our conspiring breath to become aware of love more fully and to see beyond what we believe we know, to be more curious than convicted, and growing toward a deeper awakening, connection, and growth. May our love shine forth from this place and from the sanctuary of each of our hearts so that others may know that acceptance, community, and love are the gifts we bring. With deep gratitude for life and for the chance we always have to choose love again and always, we connect with the spirit of life that is in each other, all others, with every animal and each living thing, and with the stars. Amen. You can remain seated as we sing our pastoral hymn, I Know This Rose Will Open. It's in our gray hymnal. It's one that we don't sing very often, so Lily and I chatted a bit. She's going to play through it once, and then we'll sing it twice. Thank you, that sounded great. Our reading comes from our hymnal as well. It's number 729, and it was written specifically for Ingathering. It's called The Winds of Summer. You and I and all of us blew about with the winds of summer, following the sun in different ways of freedom and play, finding rest in the cool stillness of shadows and moving to the slow, heat-struck rhythms which turned the long hours of summer light. Now is time for gathering in. We come together at this time and in this place on the bridge of autumn. Summer is fading backward into memory, and winter waits in snowy brilliance. We meet with eagerness and delight, needing one another for sharing. We have joys and sorrows and hopes to share. We have questions, things we care about, and we want to help to make better. Things that we would like to understand and ideas that are waiting to be heard. Today, we are together in gladness, once more the special community that we call our church. A community of all ages that sings its songs, tells its thoughts, asks its questions, and searches together with courage and with love. Thank you. I remember being a very young child and memorizing the prayers of my Catholic faith and reciting them when prayer time came. Sometimes at the dinner table, sometimes before hopping into bed at night, and sometimes when I was alone, reaching into the unseen with awe and wonder, with hope to somehow grow in harmony with the divine. I hesitate to discredit those prayers as rote or meaningless. Far, far from it. I cling to that childlike, ever-present connection with the non-physical and protect my relationship with spirit. I lean on it often, and especially in these tender times. But our prayer, whether it is in silence or playing music, singing, or crying, becomes more and more essential to our well-being in times such as these. Our time of ingathering today is a heartening reminder of the ways that our community grounds us in these seasons that would otherwise be much more difficult to negotiate. It is a time to celebrate the final weeks of summer and to cover our children and our teachers with blessings for the new year that is just opening. And also our ingathering is our time to curl inward for a bit and to open up the spaces in our hearts that we've been too busy to tend to over the summer. Ingathering invites us to enter a different space, a space to pause and to reflect, to stand in awe and in honor of who each of us are, and of this beautiful, quirky, compassionate gang of unlikely UU kin that we choose to share our lives with, and build a home with, and plan to stick with. Ingathering gives us time to stop everything and look around at all there is to dust off and polish up and tend to. And maybe we can see what we have here with fresh eyes. Eyes that know how fortunate we are, not only for where we've been, but for where we're going. Eyes that can clearly see that we want others to be able to have this faith in their lives too. We find our belonging afresh and want everyone to be as fortunate as we are. Ingathering is a good time to enter that space of home while we stay informed and aware of the swirl of difficult events in our world. We take this day to catch our breath and to offer gratitude for that feeling of coming up on the porch, smelling cookies baking, or maybe scones that George baked yesterday. Yeah. Finding that kitchen door wide open to you, dropping our heavy baggage, so we can sit just long enough to feel deep in our bones that the belonging that we search for is here. And our hearts say, welcome home. Come in, rest, remember, and be sure to tell others where to come for more of the same. Last year, I swirled the words of two UU ministers, Rachel Rott and Amanda Popé, with my own, into a new poem of welcome for those needing shelter and belonging. It's a prayer for our ingathering. It starts with welcome. Welcome, all of you with questions, you seekers of truth with a capital T, pilgrims longing for sanctuary, travelers needing harbor in the storm. Welcome all who are holding on by a thread, you who have pushed through your fear because something told you that you deserve to belong. We're glad you're here. Welcome home. Welcome to you who seek community for your children. You entrust your precious ones here, and we commit to nurture and respect them. Welcome to children and youth. You gift us with your joy, with your curiosity, and with your trust. Welcome home. Welcome to this home that love made. You belong here. It's full of love that the founders felt when they planned out these walls and raised these beams above us. It's full of the prayers and wonder of all who have ever worshiped here in this space, those who have been celebrated and grieved here, the babies dedicated, the couples married, the family members mourned. This is the home that love made. It is full of the love of our young adults who learn and laugh together as they grow into their own sense of purpose and meaning. It's full of the love of the staff who have served it, full of their hopes for this congregation and their hard work and acts of dedication. It's full of the love of the choir, of our Lily, and of the love made so clear in all of our voices, lifted in song on Sunday morning. This home is full of love. The love of this community is a love that we are charged with, to hone and to polish and to keep dusted off. For we are a community that knows that love holds us together as a people, no matter how difficult and tender our seasons become. We know we have something here that the world needs. May we always be finding new ways to open it and share it. And may we long to say, welcome home. Here is where we belong. Many Unitarian Universalist congregations follow an annual ingathering tradition on a Sunday, I say near Labor Day, used to follow it, that includes a water communion or a water pouring ceremony ritual. Our tradition often includes introductory remarks, time for reflection, a sharing and a pouring of water collected over the summer, or water that represents the meaning within the places that we have been or the journeys that we have been on over the summer months. For today's ceremony, we will gather on the patio and bring our ritual out into nature in the shade of our beloved ficus tree and the views of our beloved mountains. Let's form a circle on the patio around the table that is set up in the center now. And thank you to Bob and to Jarius for all the tricks you have to work to make this happen. I hope that all of you on Zoom are able to hear. We've gone to great lengths to make sure that happens, but you're welcome to go out to the patio and we'll form a circle on the patio. For those of you that brought some water for today's ritual, thank you. We're all going to take turns sharing just a few words about what that water means to us as we pour it. But I also have a station set up over there for those who did not remember to bring water or is just learning about this ritual for the first time. You're welcome to get some water from the spigot over there. Just a few drops will be plenty. And it is metaphorically connected to an event for your life. We'll let them do that for a couple minutes. Yes, if you need to sit, please do so. There's chairs on this side. Okay, while the last few folks get their water. Guided by love, secured by hope, and made courageous by our faith, we gather together at this moment of beginning, both learning and teaching, welcoming the injured and the healing, ever justice seeking. We bless this congregation with our love. With pilgrims and seekers, growing children and cherished seniors, guided by pillars and by leaders, we bless this congregation with our hope. Praying, resolving, trusting, and involving, some settled, some evolving. We bless this congregation with our faith. Let us receive our ingathering today as a gift. May it inspire to our great covenant of love, hope, and faith. May the eyes of our souls be open to opportunities for broad ministry within, throughout, and beyond our beloved community. And may the blessings that we come to know through that vision bring a healing and a blessing to our world. Amen. We gather in community to worship at a corner of our year as a congregation. This morning we bring deep love and insistent hope and courageous faith to seek to renew our covenantal commitments. We remind ourselves of the home that we share, a home that we come back to now, whether after a long or a short absence, a home we welcome all to make their own, and a home of love, hope, and faith. We gather ritually in our home this morning, carrying the gifts of our summer season, now drawing to a close, symbols of the water that we have been present with and which has been present to us. These symbols may call to mind light summer showers, thunderstorms, dewy mornings and misty evenings. Perhaps our water holds the energies of moments at the ocean, at a pool, riverside, lakeside, swimming, fishing, hiking, strolling, and who were with us while we were there, even if we were alone. Perhaps we found ourselves in the presence of water during a moment of grief. Maybe our water represents our tears. Maybe it's a remembrance of a birth or a rebirth. Perhaps it was gathered in a place whose sacredness is palpable and calming. We make meaning from our own experience, and we infuse the water that we will bring and blend with its life-giving qualities. I invite you to please accept this invitation to come forward to our common bowl and add the water that you have carried with you. Whoever would like to go first. I'd like you to share the meaning of the water that you're pouring, if you would, and remember that the camera's over there, but you're welcome to come up to this spot because it's set for the microphone. Whoever wants to start can pour it into the... Yeah, gotta fit everybody's in there. Do you want to say about what that means?
This represents a very special place for me, one of my favorite places in the universe, and that's Camp de Belleville Pines. I love that camp. I've been playing camp nurse for 20 years, and I totally enjoy it. And I am really looking forward to going at this time because I can drink.
Next, you can just come forward.
Oh, come on, don't be shy.
Yeah.
The water's, I guess, an avatar for Letha's journey to Virginia and Washington, D.C., which were safe, water from the Potomac. For my son, who went to the desert and returned safely, to grandchildren in Utah who came to visit, from grandchildren in Colorado Springs who came to visit, and in Sunland who came to visit.
My water represents the water from the top of Mount Wilson, where I've been spending quite a few hours volunteering at the observatory.
This water represents life itself.
I'd like this water to represent the cooling and the healing that water brings us. I would like it also to represent the flooding that happens and hopefully recedes and give people peace and safety.
For the water that reconnects us with family and friends.
This water represents the future river that will come through my front yard at Pilgrim Place as they have been digging swales to collect water on the corner. I'm very hopeful.
You could go.
Yeah, you go ahead and say it.
Up to you.
No, after you.
All right. I confess that I didn't realize Water Sunday was today, but every time we go to Bentonville, we bring back 12 gallons of water. That's 96 pounds, by the way. And I have about 10 left at the moment, and hopefully we will be up there for the Monte Vista weekend. And the water up there, it forms as snow on the mountain peak, comes down through about 4,000 feet of granite and never sees daylight, comes to the spring, the well, and stored in huge tanks that you have to go up there to see them. And as a result, it's much better than anywhere else, and has a nice mineral flavor from having been through all that granite.
My water is from the bucket that I collect every morning while my shower is warming up, that I've collected all summer. And it's the water that's kept all my little plants alive, and it represents, of course, life. And this basically this summer, I think I've struggled all summer to keep little plants alive and trees alive by watering very carefully with this precious substance.
I worship water, without which we would not be here today.
This is water from my favorite spot, Laguna Beach, where we watched a lovely sunset on Friday and where I visit several times each year.
This represents the water I've been carefully eking out all summer to be able to grow green beans, tomatoes, and squash.
I'm glad to be back. My first water ceremony was over 30 years ago. And at that time, I spoke of water from the country of Colombia. And today, it's just been a good journey.
in Ireland, they call whiskey Ishkabaha, which means water of life. This is a little more clear than that. I got this water here at MVUUC, which is pretty typical to have my spiritual cup filled every time I come here.
This represents the water that I'm trying to save in this drought to nurture my plants and greens. And I will say this, through the drought, I am really beginning to appreciate the bounty that God has given us. And I hope and I pray that we will learn to desalinate our oceans and our coastline and have an abundance of water for our children and our grandchildren.
This water represents my living in California for a year, and you have no idea how happy I am to be here instead of still living in Texas.
Following what some other people have already said, this water has made me appreciate what we've taken for granted for so long. It's going through the neighborhoods and seeing everybody's lawns turning brown and seeing people put in desert-like plants so that they have something nice in front of their yards. And it makes us very much aware of how precious water really is.
Is that everyone? And we bless these waters. May our gathering together of this water be a blessing for the earth, for all beings, for our ancestors, one and all. May it inspire us to a year of hope and love and courageous faith. And may we walk together on this land through the year ahead in the full awareness of the blessed ties that bind each of us to one another, to our beloved community, and to all that is. Amen. The African tradition of a libation ceremony is a ritual of pouring as an offering to spirit or deity or the soul of a person who is deceased. This ritual can be performed during casual social settings or milestone moments such as weddings or funerals. The Hebrew peoples keep a water pouring ceremony as a part of their fall festivals, offering fresh water to the land as a blessing of gratitude to God in their high holy day ceremonies. Water pouring is an ancient tradition of blessing that brings great meaning to the communities of many indigenous peoples around the world and throughout time. So today we embrace that tradition of water pouring for our community. And rather than a ritual for clergy alone, I invite you to come forward. Take up some of our combined waters and pour it out on our land with your blessing. Bless our campus in your own words, or use these words, with blessing of love and healing hope. We have small cups here on the table. You could use the water that you still have, pour some in and then take some out so that we use the combined waters to bless our land. And then I invite you to go and pour your water on our soil together, and then we'll join back together in the sanctuary for our closing song. You can take a little cup if you wish. Don't get too comfortable in your seats because you're not going to want to sit down for this closing song. As soon as a few more people come in, I know that our singing will bring them in quickly so they can join along. I invite you, yay, yes, yay. I invite you to open your order of service and we will read together the extinguishing of the chalice. George, if you could come and extinguish the chalice for us, please. Megan lit it, but she's with the kids. And we'll read the benediction together as he extinguishes our chalice. If here you found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. And if you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace. And let's enjoy the prelude.